Hello. All right, good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the December 21st, 2023 Norfolk Parks and Rec Board meeting. I'd like to inform the public about the location of the Open Meetings Act posted in the council chambers and accessible to members of the public. Roll call, please.
Terry Rasmussen.
Angie Bailey.
Becky Wolf.
Austin Truex.
Jarrett Mills.
Patrick Gerhart.
All right, look for a motion to approve of the full agenda tonight.
I'll move. Second.
All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
All non in favor, same sign. Look for a motion to approve the consideration and approval of the minutes of the November 16th, 2023 Parks and Rec Board meeting.
Move to approve minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All non in favor, same sign. And looks like we'll move to the Parks and Recreation Master Plan update and survey results.
Okay, this survey results were presented to council on Monday, so I'm bringing this to the board as well. This is in preparation for the completing up the master plan, which Pros Consulting will be out here in February, and they will be presenting their draft findings for the master plan. We'll be getting feedback from council at that point, and then they'll be coming back with a draft with with the feedback that we get from that meeting. They'll come back with their final, in April. So that's kind of the timeline we're on right now. I'll just run through a few highlights of the results from the survey. As you can see, as part of the process, the green items we've completed, and then we still have our program review, some GIS mapping that we're working on. We've got the capital improvement planning still to do, funding and revenue planning. How are we going to fund projects so we don't just put a project out there and say, not say how we're going to how it would be funded, and then a strategic action plan as well. So those are the items that are still to go. We finished up the surveys, the statistically valid surveys. We needed 375 surveys to make it statistically valid, and we did reach 425. Then we put it out for public, and we received another 175 public surveys, and they're tabulating those results as we speak. And then these are some highlights we'll go through. As you can see, the diversity in our community. I wanted to show you this. This is from the census data, and then when you get to the results, our results are mirror the census data. So that means we reached the community to make it statistically valid. It's ETC Institute that actually conducted the survey. This is what they do. They've done with pros. They've done over 500 surveys just with pros alone. So you can imagine how many surveys they conduct on a regular basis. So as you can see, we had a 15% Hispanic response in our survey results, and all races, I believe, were represented here that are in our community, and we're happy to see those results. This is actually from the survey. You can see the household income. All income levels were represented equally, as they should have been. All families were represented. These are the ages of the members of the household of the person filling out the survey, and that was equally distributed as well. How many years have they lived in Norfolk? As you can see, it's 68% of respondents live in Norfolk 21 years or more. These are the unmet needs. As you look at the top 10, you see the word indoor several times, and we have the indoor swimming pool as the #1 unmet need in our community, according to our survey participants. Swimming beach, natural areas, sledding hill, multi-purpose paved trails, an indoor playground, indoor running track, indoor ice rink, all on the top 10 there. So those are the results that we're seeing. We see a trend of indoor facility. It's the need, more so than some of our outdoor facilities, which was a little bit surprising, but not really, because we don't have a public indoor facility in Norfolk. Top priorities for investment. This mirrors the same indoor facilities that we just looked at the slide, but it shows it what our high priority items are, and it puts it in a medium priority and a low priority. So low priority would be a skate park. Well, you only need one skate park in a community our size, and we have one. Just golf courses, we have two, I believe two, and then sports fields and multi-purpose fields are just a low priority to the survey respondents. And diamond fields, they feel that, I'm guessing that we have what we need for the most part. How would they support some of these items? Sponsorship is high, is the top, but a hotel or occupation tax would be right there with that, above 50%. And you can see the hotel tax had the most respondents picking that as their top choice. So level of support for actions is a different way of asking some of the same questions, but they want to see restrooms, they want to see improved tree canopy within our parks, and they want improved biking trails. Those are high priorities as well. So there's a high level of support for these items. Top priorities for investment for our programming: adult and wellness programs, nature programs, outdoor adventure, fishing, senior activities, travel, day trips, special events. Those are the top priorities. And low priorities would be gymnastics, martial arts, tennis lessons, esports. And those are all would mirror national trends as well. In the last 12 months, how often have you visited these parks? As you can see, River Point Square is beat out Aquaventure for visits, which was interesting. But the flood control path and Tawazuka and Skyview, of course, are up there. Quality of parks. This is we had a 78% saying good or excellent. 81 is the national average, so that's good to see. I think they think our quality of our parks are decent, or good or excellent. I mean, how satisfied are you with the following services offered? The amount of green space, overall quality, amount of developed parkland maintenance. They're very satisfied. A few things that we probably should be working on would be the availability of, I can't see the availability of information, the customer assistance, the amount of available indoor space. Thank you. I'm looking up there. The amount of available indoor space is also it's a low satisfaction. So we see that trend in multiple answers. Organizations used for recreation, the YMCA being 51%, national average is 17%. We have the largest YMCA in the country, so that's to be expected, I would think, in this community. 49% though do not use the YMCA for their recreation, so there's half the community does not have a YMCA or a facility like the YMCA that they attend. They do go to the churches. They use our local, our Parks and Recreation department. It's at 38%. It's a little bit lower than the national average. And I would suspect that would be because we do not have an indoor facility. And then you can see the rest there. Commercial recreation, this is credit card sales. We visit indoor water parks outside of our community, 23% higher than the national average. Visit a zoo, 10% higher. Went overnight camping, 9% higher, and so on. These are the community engagement methods that we completed as part of this process. We are working on the park and facility assessments as we speak right now, getting those done. And I'll show you what that'll look like. This will have a matrix that shows us all the different amenities in each of our parks. and then we'll come in and do a conditions report, the condition of the facilities, what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses in each of our parks. The capital improvement plan, we're going to have sustained alternatives, mainly, how do we manage what we have, expanded services. This would be, we need more pickleball courts. That would be an expanded service. And we'll talk about our donation for that, but that would be something that would have been on here had we not received that donation. Visionary alternatives would be the bigger projects that usually are you have the community really getting out there to get that going. For instance, an indoor pool, it's not something a staff would be working on. It's just a big project. You really need the community to step up and say, this is what we want. And so next steps, operational review, funding strategies, our needs prioritization, the capital improvement plan, funding and revenue planning, and strategic action plan. And again, these findings will be presented in February and then final in April. Any questions?
One of the negatives was something about where they get information about the facilities. I guess, what are the main ways that we tell people about facilities that we have? And is there plans to expand anything and improve the communication up to people, what we have here in Norfolk, and, maybe schedules and things like that?
Yep, I'll let PJ talk to the about the programming side of things, but we do have our website, we do have our social media. Social media is new. When we started the master plan in July, we had 156 people on our social media site, Facebook. Now we're well over 1.5 thousand. So we're building that the audience, and so people are learning more and more about us, and they're getting to the sites where we put out our information. So that's a growing. I would suspect a year from now that would move up in the. So we have to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, because we're just now promoting ourselves and marketing ourselves. But our website is also something that we're working on continuously to get information out there to the public. And we have our brochures; those are brand new. If you want to talk about that.
So with recreation growing, we're trying to get the word out more and more of what we have to offer. So we've been offering camps and one-off programs. We did a zombie run over Halloween. We're offering holiday camps. To get the information out, we do flyers, and every kid at every school in our community gets that. We take that stuff to the schools, and it goes home in their backpacks. And then we also have our brochure, which comes out at the beginning of each season, which shows what we're going to have to offer. So we did our first one ever was a spring-summer one this year, and then we did a fall one, and now we have a winter guide. So those also go out to everybody. We do only do them at the schools in the spring and summertime because of the cost of what that is, and we don't have that much in our budget to print. But we do get all the information out the best we can. We also utilize our Parks and Rec Facebook page, and we constantly share that. Our communications over here, Nick, he does a good job at putting it out on the city blast and city website as well. So that's how we, with the recreation side, get the information to everybody. We think it's growing, and more people are hearing about the things. Something I've noticed with our numbers with recreation is the flyers seem to do better. So the program gives them the overall for the season, but doing those flyers when it's closer reminds them that that's coming up. So that has been beneficial. We've maxed out on our winter holiday camps, so I think doing the flyers are working.
Is there a plan for, as the river project gets completed this spring, is there a plan for promoting that at this point?
Yep, we just met yesterday about getting that up and running, and we are working on a plan to have a dedicated site to that or of some sort. Get our website updated with information. We also have the Whitewater, the North Fork Whitewater Park Facebook page as well, which very few people know about that yet, but it's up and running, and you can start following there, and you'll be able to get updates on a regular basis. We also have a logo for the Whitewater Park that you can find on that page. So, okay.
All right, look for a motion to approve to recommend an update to the winter signage for the lake at, I think it said Skyview, I believe.
It's going to be at Skyview and Taha. I had to add Taha last minute. So if you look at the signage, I'm going to quickly show you the one at Taha. This is the one at Taha. Caution ice fish at your own risk. And then the one at Skyview says no ice skating, ice fishing at own risk. What we're not wanting to promote activity on ice. You do that at your own risk. But we don't want to call out one activity over another as being safer, because that's not accurate. And we don't want to, and we're also excluding, if you look at the one at the Skyview, we're also excluding snowshoeing and running or cross-country skiing, you know, those things we don't have. We don't say that you can do that at your own risk. We don't say anything. So there are other activities that people do out on ice, and but if you want to set up a curling rink, you could go curling, and we don't say you have to do that at your own risk. So we don't want to call out those activities. We want to go to a new sign that says warning: areas with open water and thin ice, enter at your own risk. We feel that would cover everything, and it still allows people to be out on the ice as they please, as long as they do it in a safe manner and it is at their own risk.
I'll read that motion one more time. Just looking for a motion to approve to recommend an update to the winter signage for the lake at Skyview Park and Tahazuka Park.
That's correct.
Perfect.
So we're seeking a motion.
Seeking a motion, yep.
At Tahazuka, do you know how thick does the ice get there? You know, on the kind of ends of the lake, there's the fountains or whatever that kind of keep the water open for.
They do.
birds?
So there's open water, and that's, you know, there's open water where it pumps in at Skyview. There's open water where it pumps in at Taha, and so that's why we have to tell people there's open water and thin ice, and you have to be careful, regardless of what activity you're doing, even ice fishing.
Where will these be posted? Like, is there just one per each body of water, or?
No, they're posted at the entrance points. I don't know how many. I guess we didn't do an inventory and count of them, but
At the entry points of the park, or are they by the water?
by the water, but near, so near the boat dock, you know, parking lot, and same with the other side. Near the parking lots, there would be signs by the water. I don't know how many there are around, all the way around the lake. I couldn't tell you. Ryan would know, but he's absent today. But sorry.
I see a motion from anybody?
I would move that we approve the signs, the new signage.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All not in favor, same sign. All right. Next item here, look for a motion for approval to recommend a concept design for the Briggs and Barrett Garden in Winter Park.
Mhm.
What's do we know what the cost of this is going to be or anything like that?
Yeah, I'll give a little history on that.
Okay.
So first, before I bring up Brittany and Seth, they're going to talk about the design. To give you a little history, the Nursery of Hope, we were running out of room for trees. So I came up with an idea of putting bricks in a pathway for memorial purposes. And then I approached Brittany and we started talking, and we came up with a garden idea, which I got approval for the location at Winter Park. So that is the concept that you're seeing before you, and Brittany and Seth are going to come up and talk about the design for that. All the funding for it is coming from fundraising done by them, donations, and any grants that we could seek.
I need to give a little bit more of a background. If we go back a year, this is when the concept started about a year ago. We did take it to the Culture and Rec subcommittee about a year ago, and they did approve adding a memorial garden there in Winter Park. And the location, if you're not familiar, is on the map right here.
So the original playground would stay, is that right?
That's correct.
Yep, so the original playground's gonna stay, if there ever was to be a water park there, because we do have a design for that, it would still be there. It's not gonna interfere with that. So that's where it's located. It was approved by the subcommittee back, I think it was February. And so this is before the board, and so now we're bringing a concept to you to start that process, get you involved. So that's why we have it at Winter Park. So that's why we're just seeking approval of the concept.
Looking for a motion to approve that?
I think they want to present here.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. So Brittany, Melby, and Seth Lange.
You bet.
Hi, I'm Brittany Melby. I'm the Executive Director for the Briggs and Barrett Project, and we're just grateful to work with Parks and Rec on planting Nursery of Hope memorial trees throughout the city, something that we believe is really important to the moms that have had any sort of loss, and then it's important to our city parks to have fresh trees. So in addition to the Nursery of Hope, we're just really appreciative of the opportunity to have a memorial garden in the public. Norfolk has been really supportive of the Briggs and Barrett project for the last 6 years, and we just want to help provide a space for the community to gather. That's a beautiful place. So we are working with the Olson Group on a master plan so that we can start looking at phasing this out in fundraising ideas. Our biggest thing is we wanted to make sure that this was cohesive with the other, like the Johnson Park edition. We wanted to make sure it looked very similar, the same concept, things like that. So they did a very beautiful job in that. So we're just taking any suggestions, ideas too. It is ADA accessible. I don't think I have the 3D model of this, but as you can see where the logo's at, that's a raised water feature, and then the bees that go to the sidewalk, they'd be shifted over just a little bit, and it would be an ADA accessible pathway. And then on the northwest corner of that 1B2, there'd be another ramp for ADA accessible.
That's
It
cool.
would be along that bike path as well, and then again, we would phase this out so that we would fundraise for it and find grants that would make this possible.
It's a great spot. You know, that area is kind of unused. There's some aged trees already that would give you a good kind of structure on that side there. Is a good idea.
Did you have any questions for Seth or Brittany?
Since this is along the river, would there be river access for people that wanted to get in and like maybe start there on the tubing or kayaking, or
Yep.
that
So,
would be a future thing, or where are we at on that?
no,
There's existing river access on the south side of this park right now.
On the south.
For those
Okay,
kayaks to
by the bridge.
close down to that.
Okay.
It's the south end of this project, yeah. So
Okay.
there's down there.
Chain link fence. I just see the white probably, I would say wooden or synthetic of some sort, that chain link fence goes away.
Picket fence there. Basically what's on the west side of there would be just a path that would tie into a path that goes down further south of the parking, or the park there, and then possibly tie into an additional path that would be along what's that street on the south side there.
Elm.
Is it on? Okay, yeah. And tie into that path down there that would lead you into Johnson Park and lead you more downtown.
How much space is between like the north end and then there's homes, right? People-
There is so this site here is about an acre right now. The property that is to the north, since this is just a concept, there isn't really any distance that's kind of applied to it, but it would have to meet all the standards that are required by the city as far as landscaping, shielding of lights, whatever landscaping that would be on that property, so that it wasn't interfering with the property to the north there.
But it is a residence.
It is,
Houses
and
start at
actually-
the end of it,
actually,
right?
I think it's Randy Gates.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
So if he's got issues, we'll probably hear about it. So.
I did contact that neighbor and had a conversation with him, and he's fine. He was in approval of the park or the garden going in the location. The request was the walking area there wasn't close, or a large seating area wasn't right there next to the fence. But other than that, that was they were in approval.
This might be more city question, but what are we looking at for maintenance of the water feature there?
It's going to depend what goes in, what kind of filtration system and things like that it is. We maintain that area already. Briggs and Barrett are great community members that do all kinds of work, including picking up things in the park and things like that. Staff will maintain the park just like any other park. As for the water feature, it depends what they go with and things like that. But I don't see like a splash pad. It's very, very minimal.
We would continue to help with like any maintenance or anything that needed to happen with trees and floral and things like that. We would work with the city closely on that.
This is a good park to start developing volunteer programs where they can come and help maintain a park like this. Generally in Memorial Garden parks, people are a little more tied to it. So this is a great opportunity for people to come and volunteer. We don't really have a volunteer program that we've developed, but this would be a great place to start.
So is this water feature something that kids would play in, or is it just a look at?
It's just a look at. We thought about we have a BB Kids program. Currently we have over 650 kids registered. And we thought about doing like bright, colorful rocks that they could, color, put along the side of it. So it'd be very bright and colorful space.
Some of the trees there now stay, would you think?
I would think you'd try to
Some of
put
it.
those as many trees that
Yeah. There's some nice, the trees you're going with here in this design seem to be about the same size, so
The trees will remain in the park.
I like the idea. I think it's a beautiful mock-up of it. What's the timeline? Like, you're still
if we get-
fundraising?
Yeah, we haven't started fundraising for it yet because our biggest thing was to get the master plan done and for phasing. So we will go after grant funding as soon as we can for this. Our biggest thing with being a nonprofit is the majority of our funds go towards our other programs. And so we want to make sure that we're fundraising specifically for this so the donors know what their money is going towards. So we will work with the city on any sort of grant funding for parks that we can as well.
Seth or Brittany, do you know the cost estimate approximately?
We don't know a cost estimate. I'm actually working on it now. It can be a wide range of depending on what kind of material we use out here. For instance, like your your logo with your B&B. It could be stamped concrete, it could be stained concrete, it could be pavers, anything of that sort, which all have different, like widely different cost ranges and install methods and so forth. You could, you know, as far as looking at your chairs and your seating areas, there's multitudes of different costs. What we'll end up doing with this cost estimate is actually breaking it down to say, okay, this is what these certain aspects are going to cost, so that the city of Briggs and Barrett can pick and choose to say, okay, we want to do this and make it as phased we want it. And then that'll give them an idea, okay, this is how much money we have to fundraise, or this is the grant we have to go after to get this money. So it'll get broken down into phases to basically, or it'll get broken down into different groups as far as like furniture costs, and that'll even give you a range on furniture costs for what one would do, from, you know, having your good, better, best type option to furniture to pavement. Pavement's kind of a, I mean, it's just the cost of it is what it is right now. Seating, sculptures, that might end up having to be something that you know, Briggs and Barrett would have to look for some kind of artist or some sculptor person to do it, and maybe that's donated, I don't know. But it'll get broken out when I actually have a chance to actually look at the final estimate and everything. So, but I mean, for a park like this, I until I really look at what's all involved, I can't really give you guys an exact number.
And this is a concept, so there will be some edits to the design.
Yeah, and that's what PJ said. We'll still have to go through the design process, have to get permit for it, and so forth like that. So.
Any other questions? Read this one more time here. Look for a motion to approve, to recommend a concept design for the Briggs and Barrett Garden in Winter Park.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All not in favor, same sign. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, move on to other business. Monthly supervisor reports.
So wait for this to pull up here. There we go. All right. Okay, we'll have Ron start out with the athletics supervisor report. He's just going to touch on a couple items, and then if you have questions, we do have to be out of here by 6 tonight for another group coming in.
So one of the biggest things for the athletic side is we just completed the backstop on field 2 of the Tahoe Sport Complex, and new fencing is being installed for that as well. We are also in the process of organizing and clearing out areas in our shops to turn them into the proper sports area for our side of things. And I'm still working with PG on finalizing quotes for the new pickleball courts that will be upcoming.
And for recreation, I've been working on the garden with Briggs and Barrett, as you just heard, for about a year now. So moving forward, we're going to be continuing with that and phasing that out. We did receive a donation at the last council meeting of $300,000 to go towards pickleball courts. Those currently the location is at Liberty Bell. It'll be a great asset and a great recreation addition for that park and our community for everybody to use. We had a meeting about buddy baseball partnership for a future rec program as well. We're continuing to work on the backstop out at Tahoe, field number 2. So I don't know if Ron touched base on that, but the net was up and the fence has been taken down, and the new fencing is currently in the process of being put up. And the fees were approved by council for the next upcoming year. Do you have any questions?
So with that 300,000, how many pickleball courts can you get?
And we're hoping for 4. That's so once pricing is fine. We did get some quotes and things already. Just seeking the cost when I was working on them with the donation, and that was a rough estimate. Was $300,000 for 4 courts, and that would include fencing and lighting.
Did the softball dugouts he's got new fencing, you said they get expanded a little bit? 'Cause sometimes it's kind of hard to walk around an individual, like in the dugout, like you're walking, like did it get out a little bit?
I'll let Ron take that question.
Yes, it expanded a little bit back. We actually had to dig into the cement to put in the bigger poles, and so actually it's a little farther back. And the black fencing for the dugouts will connect to those big poles out. So the fencing will look very similar to what we have at Memorial Field. So.
Thank you.
Ron, you want to touch on the parks?
Right now we currently are working at Warren Cook Park. Our staff was all hands on deck on these nice days trying to get that finalized. And so we're now in the process of installing the little pieces around the park and cementing those in. And a couple of things that finished the trimming problems of the trees and finished the flower removal, some of the highlights, and starting to work on the aquaventure winterizing and filling some of the areas up with the antifreeze and everything to keep the pipes good over the winter.
I have a couple questions, comments, I don't know. How often in the winter do we empty the garbage cans at the park and things like that? Because there's one that's been overflowing for a few weeks now.
What park would that be?
It's down at the skate park. And somebody vandalized they spray painted the outside of the east side of the bathroom and the sidewalk.
Staff should be checking that daily. So
I
if
didn't know if people drove by. I just didn't, if you don't walk in the park, you don't see it.
yeah, staff should be checking areas that are open and all trash daily. So we will definitely look into that.
It's the one by the bench.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
And do you guys keep your vehicles over at Memorial Field? Like
Our
your pickups and stuff? I'm just curious.
the staff pickups currently, that's where they're breaking at, and so they lock them up and they are parked in that parking lot. That's correct. They are on camera, so, and there's nothing, they don't leave anything in the back or anything like that, so. Yeah, that's new. Where they were parking and where they were breaking out at Taha, that's the Taha shop that is getting improvement. So we had Ron and his staff had been working on cleaning that out, and so there is that's the new place to break and to go and start their day is where our Ron's office is, which is at Memorial.
I always imagined they were indoors somewhere, big garage.
Half our fleet is outside at Taha for the,
Yeah, and it's fine.
yeah.
Nobody's bothering them.
Okay. I'll run through my report real quick. Again, the Warren Cook Playground is coming along well. The little houses, if you haven't seen them or haven't gone by, they're pretty, they're unique and a nice addition. And that is from 6 months on up. It'll be our youngest playground that we have available. And the staff are building that, and they're doing a fantastic job, and that's coming along well. The weather's been holding out, helped us out quite a bit. Again, the master plan surveys are complete, and Ron mentioned the Field 2 backstop. If you haven't seen that as well, it's a big improvement. You'll be able to compare that to Fields 1 and 2, and you'll see the difference. We do have funding through the Kohler donation and our agreements with the schools to actually make improvements out there, and we'll be able to use some of those funds to finish up the other 2 backstops in the coming year or 2. We've installed our signage there at some parks. You're seeing those go up, and we'll continue those until they're complete. And any questions specifically? I do want to mention the Liberty Bell design I'm going to be bringing to the board soon. Some concepting there on where we're going to put the pickleball courts, where the restrooms are going, sidewalks, and ADA access to the field, and some other items. But I'm getting there. We're getting close. Wrapping up a few other things right now. But any questions on anything you see there?
I guess, just go back to what I mentioned before. I think with the Johnson Park project being such a big thing going on right now, I think it's time to really hit that promotion, and I know you're doing some stuff, but I'd like to kind of see what those things are here at the board and have a presentation of, how are we promoting it, and how are we getting the most out of the money that's been spent on it. I think there's a lot of interest from outside of Norfolk, so we want to promote it inside and outside. We want to bring people into Norfolk to use this facility.
So Terry, what would that look like? Just like more advertisements in different towns, radio announcement, like things like that? Is like what you possibly, maybe, all the above?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm asking. What's that going to look like?
Yeah, I see.
We'll be happy to put something together to, I'll work with Nick, and we can show you what we have and what's available on our websites, and the information we have going, and what kind of our long-term plan is. We're kind of in the middle of, we're still a construction site, so we don't want to attract people there right now. So we're a little bit, we're kind of on the fence there on how much. So
Yeah, I get that, but I want to be prepared as well,
Yep.
because it's coming quickly.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. We are, we just met on this actually, yesterday, so.
Any other items, discussions, comments, questions? Staff? You good? All right, I'll look for a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All in favor, same sign. Means adjourn. Happy holidays.
Yes.